Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will talk about navigation and routing following the SAP UI5 official tutorial. So in this tutorial, I will complete that part. I will talk about how we can navigate and how we can route from one page to another pages. So in this part, I will also talk about that how I can use the not found pages, and I can jump from the employee list to employee details to employee resume, and also employee overview, and we can back to the home. So after completing this tutorial, I hope you can prepare that same project. So that is the main home page of that project, and if I click on the show employee list, you can see that a list of employee will be appear here, and this is coming from the mock data. And if I click on that, it will automatically come through the detail pages, and you can see that how I can transfer data, the employee ID on the URL. So now you can see, and if you click on the resume pages, you can just click on there, and it will appear that all information, tab based information. So if I click on that, you can see the all resume related information. So these all have been done following the standard SAP project or the guideline. So now if we go back, you can go back to the home pages. So there's the project we will prepare today, and I will discuss everything. So let's get started. So in this tutorial, as per SAP tutorial, they advise us to download the initial code, and we can start on that code. But actually we will start from the scratch. I mean that we will not download any code from SAP website. We will prepare everything from scratch, and I'm using the SAP UI5, so you can also follow that same. So let's start create new project. So that is the Visual Studio window. So I'm just okay, and here is like this. I can close this. Okay, so that is our new project. So we have to create the control shift. So that is the terminal. I can just close this. Okay, so let's go to the project. So what should be the like so for that generator, I will use the YU easy UI5. So here it should be the project, then app. Just make it a little bigger. Okay, so what would be the, it should be navigation tutorial, the full project name. So if we put the navigation tutorial, then I have to put the first tutorial. Okay, then navigation. Okay, so just static XML, and I will use the SAP UI5, not the Open UI5. So you can see that navigation tutorial, the project will create, and we have to wait until the project has been completed. So just let it be done. So now you can see the project has been created. So now what we can do, we can just like from here, what is the name of that project? That is navigation tutorial. So just copy that name, cd, sorry. Okay, so now we have to just open that project. Okay, we can just, so you can see that a generator create the project, and it is also add that all required file what we have to do, and for a complete projects everything is there, so we don't need to worry about that. And in another video I already described how this UI5 generator working. So now let's start the projects. So if I open the terminal, in that terminal just npm, sorry, okay, so this is running, so that means that everything is done and initial project has been completed. So now we will change a little bit from here. So here the title of the navigations, we can see the navigations tutorial, so it just changed. So this initial project setup has been done, and you can see that it is also running in the server. So now what we will do, we will set up the mock server, and this mock server will help to get the sample mock data. So let's start that mock server. So what I will do, I will, in another video I already described about that mock server, so I will just copy and paste some data into here. So first of all, inside the web app folder we need a local server. So here just paste. Okay, so basically what I have to do, let me copy. So basically I just copied this local server. Inside that local server there is a mock data, basically that is the employee.json and also resumes.json file, and there is also metadata for that mock server purpose. But when you work with the real server, then you will get the real data. And there is also mock server, that the file, and we will configure that mock server in a minute. So now this is the on, basically we need to copy and paste the tree file. So that is the on folder is already completed. Another thing is that let me copy that mock server, and okay, so another is that in where the manifest file is there, so here we just paste the initial mock server. Okay, so now we have to configure this mock server. So currently it is running the local server, but we will configure mock server so that we will get the data from that mock server as if it is a real server, but actually that is the mock data. So let configure. So inside the local service you can see the employee.json, resumes and metadatas and mock server. So here you need to just change the locations based on your folder namespace. So earlier it was the nav test, but we'll change to the navigation, then tutorial. So this is done and this page is done. So after that, this mock server and that init mock server.js. So here we have to change. So that is the same way we have to change as per our navigation tutorial. So here navigation tutorial mock server, everything is same, not need to do anything. And what we have to do, currently this is fine, but we have to connect the data into our project, and data will come from the mock server. So we need to create a connectivity. So for this connectivity, we have to go to the manifest.json, and in that manifest.json we need a local data source. So this data source, actually it should be SAP app. So SAP app is started here and it is ended here. So before the title you can put other pages, but I generally follow the second term is the data source. So you can use the same way, and is data will come from the metadata.xml, and data format is udata. That's all about the mock server. I'm not still in the mock server, and still I'm not going to the navigation. So, and all our projects, the data will come from the model. So we have to define that data source in the model. So here, if we go to that model, so here this model is started already, there is a model. So at that here, okay, so now you can see that we define a data source, and data source will come from that mock data .xml. But in real, actually you don't need metadata. Actually the real server will provide the metadata, but currently the source is the mock data, and our model will connect with that data source. The employee remote, what is that? And our application will use that data source from the model. So that is the reason we need to connect like this way. So if we go to that mock server, and if we go to here, you can see that actually the main data source is from the SAP app data source and employee remote. So that is the main data source. So, and the same way, if I go to the manifest.json, you can see that SAP app, then data source and the employee remote. So that should be the same, otherwise you will get error. Okay, so now actually our index folder, index file, it is not, it is connecting from that local server, and it is not connecting from the mock server. So our index folder need to be changed. How we can change? So in that index folder, currently this index folder is initial file we have to change, because actually it is connecting from the component support, but we'll change and we'll trigger to the initial server. So here navigation tutorial, then init mock server. So now actually I tell the program to initial the data from that mock server, and that is the mock server, and this is fine. And here you don't need to test anything. So yeah, there's the things, and no need to change any. So if I refresh, you can see actually now it is not changing anything, but actually it is coming data from the mock server. How you can understand that it is coming from the mock server? Because if I put something here, then you can see that it is gone, because it is not connecting data from the mock server. So our sample data is ready. This employee and resume related data is ready, our mock server is ready, and our system or our project is also connecting from the mock server. So we are ready to go. So let's start for that navigation part. So here we will use, that is the main pages. So basically when you start your project using the SAP UI5, then if we go to the view and the main view, so basically that is the page. It is starting from the main view. So here actually we will use a just remove and that is the page, and I'm not coding, I'm just for that XML, I'm just copy and paste, sorry. Okay, so I'm just adding on button. So that is the button ID, and that is the text, and this text it will come from the I18. So let me copy, and here, so if we go to the I18 properties here, so actually I am copying everything. So in later also don't need to copy every time. So now if show employee list, so if I use that, main view show employee list, so here if we go to the properties, it's like show list. It just for the name information. So in future you don't need to change the code, you can change here. So that's the reason. So now I can just close everything. So now you can see that there is a button. In that button, the ID of the button and the text will come from that I18 properties, and we say that is the class for that CSS purpose, and it's not important. But when we press the button, actually it will go to that it will go to that function. So now in UI5, if you just click on here, so like click on here, and you can see there is the icon. From this icon actually you can create that function in the controller. So if we just click here, so you can see that it's already created the function. Otherwise you need to manually type, so you don't need to do this. So from here actually we need to navigate to the employee detail page. So let's create. So before doing that, we will create the two pages, two view. One for the, once we click on that, actually it will show the employee list, and from that employee list actually it will go to the employee detail page. So you don't manually need to create the view. So as we are using the SAP UI5, so what we will do, we will use that UI5 generator the same way YU, and here is the UI5, then project, we are in the project, and now we will create a new view. So there's the new view, and what is the name of the view? We will name that view like employee list. Employee list, that's it. So we will also want to create a controller, just everything. So here it's asking that they will create a router. Okay, we will create a router and later we will explain how it will work. Okay, so now if we come to that view, you can see that employee list controller is already created, and also employee list view also there, and it will also created the router, what I will describe later. So now in the main so here that is the, so now we need to go to the controller. So what we have to do from here, we have to navigate that another pages. So before navigating, we have to just first write the code. This dot get router dot nep2. Okay, so now you can see that we already get the get router, but you have to initialize this router, otherwise your router will not work. But how I initialize? I didn't initialize here, because if you go to the base controller, you can see that view and controller is same, but on controller is extra, that is the base controller. In that base controller you can see that there is a set module, and you can see there is a get router is there, and navigate to also there. So that is the reason, and you can see here, and also this function is there. And another thing is that component. So here controller, also that component and initialize, and you can see that initialize is this router is initialized here. So that is the reason if you use the generator and you don't need to do anything. So but sometimes you may see, or if you follow another video, then they may talk about the router initialization. But if you already use the UI5, you don't need to worry about that initialization part because it's already initialized. So that is the reason I can just directly I can write the router. So that means that whenever we move from one page to another page to another, master to details, details to informations, we have to always use this get router, and after that it will navigate to the, so that is the main understanding point, that it will navigate to where. So basically the thing is that it will navigate to a route. So from route it will trigger a target, and this target will assign a view. This view will display. So that is the main point of router or navigations. Only the, so whenever we have to assign to a route, and this route will trigger a targets, and targets will trigger a view. So now where is that route? It is already created in the manifest.json. So this code also you don't need to write because SAP UI5 generator already created this file. So now you can see that here is the routing configurations, how it will route and everything. And here you can see that inside the routing configurations, that all part is there, and in that routing configuration there is a called route. So that's the main route view, and you can see that is the another route, that is the name is the employee list, and that is the pattern. We'll talk in a minute. So for the time being you can understand that that is the route name is the employee list, and it will trigger a target is the target employee list. So if we go to the targets panel, and you can see that is the target, and this target actually it will trigger the view what we just created. So we from our project, and we first navigate only the show. So if we come here, so we have to navigate the route, and in that routing configurations our route is the employee name, and then the targets and view. The target is this is target to the target employee list, so that is the employee list, and when it will target it will show the employee list view. Okay, so now if we want to target a route, so what's the name of the route? So currently there are two routes, so we will mainly target to the employee list route. So now actually we will navigate to employee list. So now just refresh. Sorry, we need to actually start. See, you can see that when you click on that, you can, it's already moved to the employee list, and you can see the route employee list. So how it's coming? So it is, when you click on that, it is automatically coming, because in that pattern, if I go to the manifest.json, you can see that is the pattern. I use this pattern. So if I like if I use like if we list on, so it will also see, it will go with this pattern. So later I will discuss how we can use this pattern. Okay, so now this is done, but you can see that when sometimes it may happen that page not found, I mean that you use something, but actually you realize that the page, there is no page. So you can, what you can use, you can also add any pages. On that page it will show that page is not found, and you can see that I'm using that browser back button to go back. So we will add the button here. So now you can see the navigation, that is the employee detail page. So basically that is the employee list. So here manifest, main view, index, main view controller. I'm just closing this, and that is the view, and that is the employee list. So in this employee list here, I have to use that, that's the page. So in that page we have to use like show navigation button true, and when you can see it's already there, but it is not working because we have to make a, we have to add a function on that. So I am just so now that navigation on back. So here, so I just put the navigation back, but we have to work on that function. So again, in this case, you can see that actually I use that UI5, so we don't need to work on that, because actually it is in the base controller, this function is there. So I'm not going to this. You can just now, like if we go to the refresh, and it is coming back. So because it's already defined in that controller. Okay, so this is done. So what we will do, we will add a not found page. Now for example, if we use like any other so like here index.html, like hash. So actually it is not it is not doing anything, but actually there is not the valid pages, something like that, or like whatever. So those are not the valid pages. So if it is not the valid pages, then actually it will show the not found pages. So that's the reason there is a by default function. So what we have to do, the same way we have to add a new view. So here terminal, just close this. Same way I am adding another view, project, then new view, and name is the not found. Okay, so not found page is there. So for this actually we don't need to write too much code. So if we go to the manifest, and here the routing section, where is the routing is configuring. So data source. Okay, so that is the routing part, and in this routing part actually we just have to mention here like bypass target not found. So basically actually we don't need to root or other something, we just need to just mention the not found, and this not found actually it will take care to the new pages. So here like and also we need to write something that is the not found pages. So in the not found pages we need to put a message. I'm just no need pages, just here I am just adding a pages. So now if we index, we have to again run this. But if we use this, so here list, we need to check actually. Okay, so here the targets with the name not found is exist, because here we just mentioned that it will trigger the not found, but we didn't make the targets. So if we come here, and that is the not found, so in the target, that is the target panel, in the target panel, that is in the end of this target panel. So target not found, actually that is the name of the targets that already created by the generator, and it is also viewing the page. So here we can use the name of the target here. So like, so if I use that bypass, if I use that target not found, so now you can see this is not available, and here like if we use any other pages, this is fine. But if there is any invalid pages, then actually it will trigger to bypass, and it will trigger the targets, and this target actually that target not found. And if we go to the not found, then actually it will view that not found pages. So that is for that, like if we sometimes don't found any pages, then it's for that. So let's start with that actual navigation. So now if we check here that there is a button, and if we click here, it is coming to the employee list. So here basically we don't need to not to that much. Like here what we'll do, we'll list that all of the employee. So that is the reason if we go to that view and employee list, in that employee list, that is the content, and I will just replace, I'm not typing the code. So now you can see that the list actually it is coming from that model what is already discovered, and this employee is the entity, and that is coming from this employee data, and this employee and all record it will show. And if we go to the employee list, and you can see that here actually that first names and everything it will come, and here that is the press, I mean that if we press on that, actually what it will do. So now you can see that is the all data is already available there, and is data is coming from that mock server. So now if we click on that, it is not doing anything, because we just mentioned here that once we click, then it will go to the list item pressed. So we need to declare the list item pressed. So that is all the employee list. So what we have to do, we have to create that function. So if we go to the employee list, so employee list is the controller, that is the employee list. So here what we have to do, here actually we need to write code here. So I'm just so here what I am doing, so once it press on that locations, when we press on any item, so then it will trigger that function, and this function it will come here. But we have to catch this value from here. Like when we click on the Nancy related information we have to catch. So that is the reason from that source, this source actually the item is equal to the source. So source means that when we click any item, this item will be the click item. So when we get the selected item, so and this event actually it is coming from the event, and this event actually when we press, the press is one kind of event. So get source, so if get from that source we can get that which item I clicked, and this store in the item. So after that we need to bind the selected item, so that is the value of that bind item. And after that we need to get router and navigate to. So this is just store the information, and after that it will navigate the same way to the employee details route, and this route will trigger the targets and target will trigger the view. So same way we need to navigate to the employee details. This employee details we have to create in a minute, and after that we just not only going to the employee details, but we are also sending a value. Which value we are sending? We are sending the employee ID value to that employee ID. So now here employee ID, if we go to the locations and employee, you can see that employee ID is a 4, 3, those is the selected. So first if we click on that Nancy, then actually selected item or selected employee ID is the 1, and this one will send to the employee details page. So now what we have to do, we have to create a new route for the employee details. So now let's create employee details the same way. It is, I don't know why it is coming anyway. So here again the same way we will create a new pages, and it will automatically create a route and the trigger. So is the UI5, then project, here that new view. So what is the name of that view? That view name is employee details. Enter. Okay, so now you can see that it's already created a route named the employee details. So if we go to the manifest, you can see the new route is, because system know that I have created a view, so it is also need a route. So you can see the employee details, that is the route. So if we navigate the employee details, it will trigger the target employee details, and that is the target employee details, and it will show the view. So now if this is there, so here again we have to run. So here npm okay, so here if we click here, so you can see that it is actually triggering to the employee details page from the employee list page, and we can also send a value. This value is employee ID. You can, so here we not only just view, not only the employee view details, but we are also sending a employee ID. So how we can find this employee ID? So we need to transfer from one page to another pages. So now actually what we have to do, if we go to that manifest. So here if we go to the manifest here, so we are using the employee details, right? So employee details root is there, so and that is the pattern. This pattern is, you can see that like when I click here, it is showing the root employee details, that is the same name as I told you. And now we have also that employee, sorry, we need to put this value here in the manifest. So now if we, so now you can see that when we send any value, when I click on that number 3, then you can see that is showing here. How it is showing here? Because from that controller I stored that selected information employee ID here, and it is going to the next pages, and as a pattern it is also capturing the employee ID here. So you can see that employee ID. So in the next page, if we have to catch this value in the detail page, and we have to show data based on that page. So now what we have to do, we have to go to the employee details. Now like employee detail, that is the XML. So now if we go to the employee detail pages, so basically what I am doing, I am just copying and paste that XML code. It's so here, and this is coming from that form, so you also add the form package. Okay, so now you can see that if we data, if we click here, we can see that all data, and we can see that value, our selected employee ID is there. But now we will capture, we will match, and we will display the data here. Okay, so now we need to go to the controller. So here employee details controller, that is our main controller, where we have to write code for that. We can use this panel. So we need to write code here. So now we have to use a init function. It will initialize the same way. We have to use a router. Why we are using this router? Because everything actually maintaining from that router, from one page to another pages, transferring data, everything is doing the router. So that's the reason we have to initialize this router here. And after that, from this router, that is common, I mean that uRouter.getRouter, which path or which route we are dealing with. We are dealing with employee details, because when we move from when we move from this page to this page, then that time we use that employee details root. So that is the reason we have to name that which root we are dealing with. And after that, when it is coming to this page, so that time actually we need to add the match. Why we need that match? Because here we come here, but actually it will not load the all data. It will match the value. This value is showing in the URL, so only this related employee information will show. So that is the reason it will match. So now we have to create a match function. So now here we have to use that match function. So now what it will do, it will from here it will come to these pages, and from these pages actually it will capture this argument. Argument means that what I sent here, it is one I have sent, and this now what it will do, like for example, when I select the one employee 1, that it will capture the employee value 1 here, and after that again it will bind data. And which data it will bind? It will bind the specific where the employee ID is 1. How it will get that path? If I go to that XML data, that controller local service employee, so like actually that is the path 1 employee 1, and that is the path 2 employee 2, and that is the employee ID, that is a 3. So where it will do, from that employee it will match the path where the employee ID is the 3 or 1 what I select, and it will bind data into that view. And after that we are using, so it will find and it will match the data which path is employee 1, I mean that what I selected, and after that it will bind the change. So that is the reason we have to use the another function here. So here actually here we have to use that. So this function is in here, so we have to use that on. So and it is not the proper path is not correct. For example, you something that wrong page is coming, or ID is not there, so that is the reason actually it will show the not display place. So now you can see that all information is coming. I mean that if we now select here, so from here, from that when we send the data, we are also sending that employee ID, and from employee ID and the initialize we need to just that code to code, and it is also capturing the value from that URL. After that it is matching the metadata or the employee data, and after that it is binding the view, and from that view actually that control is loading the data. So that is the things actually how you can show data. But now I will show another way. Like if we click on that button, then actually it will show the resume related information. So now if we go to the employee list, so now that is the employee detail. view. So actually there is that navigation back, employee ID. Okay, so once we press, actually then it will go to the on show resume function. So we have to create that. So here we will use this the same way. So the same way actually it will get the ID, employee ID, and it will trigger the root resume, and it will in that resume ID data, so that we can later work on that employee ID. So same way we have to create a view like resume view. So here UI5 project, new view. So we put that name okay, Stuart. So you can see that is navigate to resume. If we go there in the manifest, then you can find that here actually in that, sorry, where is that? If we go to that manifest, we can see that actually it has created a new root, that is the root, and name is the resume, and this resume also triggered the target resume, and this target resume also showing the page. So now it is already defined in that. So employee details controller. So now if we click on that button, we have to start. So here it is showing the data, and if we click on here, actually it is showing the details in resume page, but we have to bind data. But you can see that actually we are sending data, but it is not showing in the URL. So the same way we have to use in the manifest. So now if we go to the manifest, in the resume and in the root, that is the resume, target, and pattern. In that pattern we have to use the same way employee ID. So now actually if we, so now you can see in the resume it is also coming the value. And what we can do, we can in the targets, in the target resume, so here target resume, here transition flip. So how that resume page will come. So actually it is just a style how it will come. So here what we'll do, you can see that if we go to the resume.xml here in the local data, so you can see the resume ID, information, projects, hobbies and notes. So for that we'll use that 4 icon here and we'll show this data. So now what we have to do, we have to work on that resume.xml. So here in the same way, for the XML purpose, I'm not just writing. So you can see that is like this. Actually, that is called the icon tab bar, and based on that, actually, we have to write code so that actually it will appear the information. So basically it's like that. So here if we click, it will come here and we can see the informations based on our click. So now what we have to do here, that is called the query based information. So what we have to do in that manifest, we have to add the additional things. So here in that resume, we need to additional, because here you can see that is actually, that is the one page, that one view. So when we change from one view to another view, then we can send data based on that URL, right? But we are in the one pages or one view. How we can change from, how can use that query to go to the another pages, to view the data based on that selected value. So that's the reason we have to use that. This concept is called the query. So here in that we have to use that query. So like here, so when we come here, list, okay, so you can see only the resume, but actually we have to use so that it will select a data based using that query. So now we have to go to that resume.json. We have to go to the resume.controller. So if we go to the controller, so here actually we write the code. Okay, so that is the same way, but we have to add some additional code here. We have to use additional JSON model, because this information we will keep in a view and data will store in the view. So that is the reason we have to use a JSON model as well here. So here is on JSON model. We'll use this in a minute. And I am declaring a array here. This array will use because for that there is no JSON or something like that, but we can just put the array. For your project you can just change based on that. So the same way, you already know that first we need to the init function, and it is going to the resume root, and we also have to match the on root match what we talk about the previous, what we discussed about the previous employee list details. So but here additionally we also need this model, because we declare this model. We'll show how why we use this. And this root on root match, as we declare here, so this is here. So at the same way we are using the additional, that is query, and this query value we'll get from that URL, so that is called arguments. And the same way it will collecting data from that XML view, and actually it is the change binding, and we will declare the change binding as well. So here, but before that we have to so here, so this is, that is the end of that binding. So after that here we have to, so that is the additional. I mean that now actually it will bind data based on this query value. So query should be the projects, query should be the information, query should be the hobbies, or whatever it is. Based on the selected value actually it will bind the data. So here as we mentioned that on bind change, the same way we have to use this bind change, and so everything is bind here. But as we mentioned in that XML view that when we click, then actually from that view it will show the selected view, and we have to, when we select, actually it will first trigger the tab on tab select. So if we come here, so now bind change, so here we have to use that so that is complete here. So now there is something wrong, we need to find out that. So if we click on that F12, JSON model is not defined. Okay, yeah, JSON model we didn't mention here. So now Okay, so now if we click here, you can see that project related information is coming, and based on that mock server. And now if we go back here, we need to just refresh. So this could need to be fixed, but I'm now going to this. So if I go to any number 3, so all number 3 related information is there. So that's the main part of this navigations and routing. So again, is the mainly 3 things you need to keep in mind, that route for that route, and that target, and that view. So if you just think about the 3 things, then it's very easy for you. So I will add this code in the project. You can download from the GitHub. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. If you really like this video, please subscribe and leave comments if you have any confusion, and you can share with your friends. Thank you.